Good evening, everybody. This is Kelly Schnorrenberg in Denver, Colorado. I'd like to personally welcome you tonight to the Leadership webinar conference call. Folks, this is going to be a conference call tonight, but I want to share what the short-term, mid-term goals are of quantum success strategies, number one. Number two, I'm going to talk about the demographics of the industry we're involved in. Number three, I'm going to talk about some companies in the past that have made history in this industry. Number four, I'm going to talk about our products and services, how they compare to today's demographics. And guys, do I ever have a treat for you tonight? We have some special guests on this call tonight, people that have recently became part of QS2, people that are going to bring leadership in the field as well as inside of this company in ways you can't imagine. So with that said, let's go ahead and get started. For anybody that's ever heard me speak, you've always heard me say this. Our goal here in the next 3 years, short-term goal is to build $1 billion market cap company. In the next 5 to 7 years, our goal is to build a $3 to $5 billion market cap company. In the next 7 to 10 years, long-term goal, our goal is to build a big cap company. Well, folks, to do something at that level in the business world, in this industry, it takes three things. Number one, you have to have the management expertise in-house in this industry. Number two, you also have to have that same type of management expertise in network marketing. Well, folks, starting with Dan Ahmed, the CEO of our company, to Jim Files, the president of our company, to Tony Reyes, the field chairman of our company, to Randy Krogh, Jim Ginocchio, Scott Wells, Mike Gunzik, Doug Arundel, John Phillips, along with myself, I think we put a management team together that could probably go to work for any insurance company at the highest level when it comes to distribution, the hiring and training of agents en masse, the simultaneous production through them agents to the end user of our products. Well, tonight we have some special guests on the phone. They're going to add to that expertise in this company. When you hear who they are, what their background is, what they've done, I think it's going to turn some heads. Okay, the second thing it takes to build the company of the scope we're talking about within the time frame we're talking about is you have to have the financial wherewithal to support your business model. Well, folks, we're about an 8-month-old company. What we do this month in business, I believe in October, November, by the time we get paid on it, it's going to probably generate us maybe $300,000 to $500,000 in income. Again, numbers may not be right on, but I think we're going to be in the ballpark. What we do next month in business, I would be extremely disappointed if it didn't generate our company $700,000 to $1 million in income. Well, folks, what I'm trying to tell you is from a corporate perspective, the funding of our company corporately, we have that in the rearview mirror already. In other words, an 8-month-old company in the profit mode, the normal company in America takes about 3 years to do that. The third thing it takes to build a company of that stature, that magnitude, them time frames we're talking about, is you have to have world-class leadership in the field. In other words, I've seen a lot of companies that have great management in-house. They have all the money in the world, but what they lack is leadership in the field. Again, folks, tonight I'm going to introduce you to some world-class leadership that have built some of the largest companies in America out there in financial services. So with that said, let's go ahead and talk about the demographics. Folks, we all know this. 77 million baby boomers, 40 million seniors. Our government is saying the next 20 to 30 years, there's going to be a $30 to $50 trillion wealth transfer. It is the largest transfer of wealth in the history of mankind. Couple that with the average age of a licensed insurance agent today is about 58 years old. So think about what I just said. 30 to 50 trillion dollar wealth transfer next 20 to 30 years. Yet here in the next 7, 9, 10, 12 years, we're going to have a mass exodus of licensed professionals in this industry right in the middle of the wealth transfer. Well, whatever company or companies have the ability to hire, train, put back in this industry licensed professionals and do that in mass, there's going to be a chapter in history written that hadn't been written yet. The demographics alone, the 30 to 50 trillion dollar wealth transfer, the average age being 58 years old, the demographics of the industry tell us that's going to happen. Well, folks, what I'm going to do real quickly is I'm going to tell you about a couple companies that have made history in the past. And I want to share how them companies started. I want to share the marketplace, their market niche, how they made history. And then what I want to do is I want to compare the timing of today's demographics, today's products and services we offer to what these other companies had. Let's start with A.L. Williams. Back in 1977, the insurance company in Atlanta started called A.L. Williams. Art Williams was the founder of the company. Well, in 14 years, they went from a startup life insurance company to 750,000 licensed agents. The end result of having 750,000 licensed agents is they sold 10 million term life insurance policies. They ended up doing $360 billion face amount of term insurance. 77 to 91, folks, that's 10% of the market share of term insurance in America. 1991, they ended up selling to Prime America Financial. In 1991, Prime America was owned by Citigroup, the largest company in the world at that time. Well, today that company sits out there at about a $2.5 billion publicly traded market cap company to date. They have had 63 people earn 7 figures a year, 2,700 6 figures, and 1,200 people became millionaires in these companies, A.L. Williams, Prime America. So how did all this happen? Well, Art Williams' father passed away prematurely of a heart attack. His father had two $10,000 whole life policies. Art's mother was a homemaker, was not college educated, had never worked. Well, to support her family, her kids still living at home, she ended up working 2 and 3 part-time jobs until the last one got out of high school. Well, Art Williams ended up putting himself through college, became a high school football teacher coach, went to work for Waddell and Reed, and when he went to work for Waddell and Reed, he found out that his father could have had about $150,000 worth of term insurance for what they were paying for 2 $10,000 whole life policies. So Art started to do a little research on the industry. Back in 1977, there were 77 million boomers. Every 7-8 seconds, somebody's getting married, having children. And guess what the industry is selling? The life insurance industry is selling about 90% whole life insurance, yet the demographics of the industry said term insurance should play a big role. In other words, whole life insurance is high premium, low coverage, cash value. Term insurance is high coverage, low premium, no cash value. So again, Art Williams looks at what the industry is selling, and he comes out with the concept called buy term, invest the difference. Well, that's how this company was launched. A gentleman came in that company who had spent 8 years in Amway, never really made any money in Amway, but what he learned was their recruiting, building, internal consumption, field training system. Well, he was the gentleman that brought the network marketing concept to the financial services industry and made it work. Well, in 14 years, this gentleman I'm talking about ended up with 50,000 licensed agents. His override 77 to 91 was $33 million. Folks, in today's dollars, that's a couple $100 million. Listen to this. When the company started, because he brought the system, because he was the _1 income earner, he got a little stock in the company. Well, when the company sold in 91 to Primerica, his stock was worth $13 million. So in a 14-year time frame between overrides and the stock he ended up with, guy makes $46 million. Well, in 1992, he starts his own company, a company called World Marketing Alliance. And again, he takes that exact same system that he learned at A.L. Williams, that he learned at Amway: recruiting, building, internal consumption, field training. This time the product was variable universal life, variable annuities. And in 10 years, using that system, and you're going to hear me talk about system, using that recruiting, building, internal consumption, field training system, 430,000 agents in his company, 5 million customers, approximately $4 billion assets under management. 2001, he ends up selling his company to Aegon. Aegon owns Transamerica. Aegon happens to be the third largest insurance company in the world. So think about what I'm saying here. A.L. Williams, 77 to 91, turns into Primerica. They sit out there today at about a $2.5 billion publicly traded market cap company. WMA, 92 to 2001. Today they sit out there at about $1 billion publicly traded market cap company. Well, the entire management team here at QS2, starting with Dan Ahmed, the CEO, Randy Krogh, Jim Ginocchio, John Phillips, Mike Gunzick, Scott Wells, Doug Arundel, along with myself, Jim Files, guess where we were at? We were at a previous company with the gentleman who founded World Marketing Alliance. Well, folks, that kind of experience, there's no amount of money that would pay for that kind of experience. In other words, when you've been in business with people that have built empires, and you have that type of knowledge, that type of experience, that there's no amount of money that you can really put on what that knowledge, what that experience is worth. So now let's real briefly talk about our products and services and how they compare to what A.L. Williams had 77 to 91. Let's start out with term insurance. Folks, probably 95% of the people who have term insurance today, at the end of the term, what happens to their coverage? One of two things: it either ceases or it's renewable at their option. But what happens to the money they paid for their term insurance? The insurance company keeps their money. Well, listen to what I'm going to tell you. They now have a product called term return of premium. In other words, every single dime you pay for that insurance, if you keep your policy till the end of the term, you get your money back. Well, when 95% of the marketplace has an antiquated product where the insurance company keeps your money, are you beginning to see an opportunity out here? Now let's talk about Index Universal Life. Folks, I'm going to share a statistic with you. I'm going to share a statistic. The #1 reason people file bankruptcy in America is a medical illness. Listen to this one. 40% of the people who file bankruptcy happen to have major medical insurance at the time they file. Well, now I got a better one for you. Do you realize that 62% of the people in America at some point during their lifetime will have a heart attack, stroke, cancer, become disabled, or end up in a nursing home. I'm going to repeat that. Do you realize that 62% of the people in America will have one or more of 5 things happen to them in their lifetime? They're going to have a heart attack, stroke, cancer, become disabled, or end up in a nursing home. Well, let's talk about Index Universal Life tonight. Folks, there are 3 reasons why people would buy that product. Number 1 reason is protection, death benefit for their family. To guarantee their family in the event of an untimely death that their family is going to live in the same lifestyle, kids are going to get to go to college, have the protection necessary. That's one of the reasons people buy life insurance. Well, the number 2 reason why people buy life insurance is cash value accumulation on an income tax-free basis. The number 3 reason people buy universal life policies is tax benefits. In other words, once you want to start taking money out of that policy, you can borrow it and not pay any capital gains whatsoever. So folks, think about what I'm about to say here. Probably less than 10% of the people in America who own life insurance today happen to have something called living benefits. In other words, in the event you have a heart attack, stroke, cancer, become disabled, end up in a nursing home, guess what? Your family has the death benefit if you pass. They have the cash value accumulation benefits. They have the tax benefits if you want to take the money out on a tax-free basis. But in the event that you have a heart attack, stroke, cancer, become disabled, or end up in a nursing home, you have what are called living benefits or critical illness benefits. Well, think about what I'm going to say. Less than 10% of the people in America have this product. What do you think the hottest product is in life insurance today? Index Universal Life Living Benefits. Now let's talk about health insurance. With Obamacare passing, guess what? Whether you like it or not, next year you're going to have health insurance. Well, folks, we have a short-term major medical product, and I want you to listen to this real carefully. We have a short-term major medical product that if you have reasonably good health, how would you like to get full-blown eye coverage? How about full-blown dental coverage? How about a lower deductible than what you have? How about unlimited lifetime benefits? And how about saving 30 to 50% on what you're currently spending? Folks, I'm going to tell you my story. I'm 54 years old, a little bit overweight. I was paying $800 a month with Blue Cross at a $5,000 deductible, no eye coverage, no dental coverage. Well, my deductible's now $2,500 a month, or $2,500 period. My better half, Nancy, she's a couple of years older than I am. She's paying $700. Between us, we're paying $1,500 a month. Listen to what I'm going to tell you. We went from $1,500 a month at a $5,000 deductible down to just over $500 a month with full-blown eye coverage, dental coverage. Deductibles now $2,500, no lifetime maximums. Folks, think about that. We're literally saving $1,000 a month. You want to hear what the beauty of this product is? The beauty of the product is you don't have to sell it. You don't have to quote it. You don't have to write it. All you have to do is ask a friend of yours if they'd like to save 30 to 50% on their major medical, send them to your website, put their information in. We have a call center that in 3 to 5 minutes we'll call them back. They will quote it, write it, and service it. And guess what? You get paid. How simple is that? It doesn't get any simpler than that. Now let's talk about CDs, folks. 40 million seniors. Our government says there's $10 trillion sitting in CDs. 1-year CD at best 0.33. 5-year CD at best 1.75%. So think about what I'm going to say. 40 million seniors, $10 trillion lose money every year. Well, folks, we got something called a market link CD. It's FDIC insured, so whoever buys it, their principal is never at risk, ever. The returns are tied to the financial markets. When the markets go up, you get 60% of the gain's locked in. The markets go down, you don't participate in the loss. Again, I'm going to repeat that. When the markets go up, you get 60% of the gain's locked in. The markets go down, you don't participate in the loss. Folks, your gains are capped at 9% a year. That doesn't mean you're going to get 9%. They're capped at 9%. Think about this. 40 million people, $10 trillion losing money every year. And here we can offer them the same FDIC insurance, just a better rate of return. Think of the lives we can change with that product. The last product I want to talk about today is property and casualty. Folks, hear me out on this. If you go get a P&C license, you're never going to quote it, write it, or service it. Did you hear what I said there? Go get you a P&C license. You will never quote it, write it, or service it ever. See, we have a back office. All you have to do is get the declaration page of your potential client into our back office. Our back office will call your client. They will quote it, write it, and service it. And guess what? You get paid if you sold it, or if anybody in your hierarchy sells it, you get paid. Two of our four products I just mentioned, you're never going to quote it, write it, or service it. Our back office does all the work. All you have to do is be a director of traffic. That's all you have to do is direct traffic to our back office. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to introduce you to some people. They're some of the true giants in the financial services industry. First of all, I'd like to start with Bob Trueblood, Jerry Bowles, and Jesse Romero. Folks, let me give you a little history on these three guys. Bob and his partnership were a part of another company that went from startup and sold for $600 million. They were the #1 marketers in that company. Well, if that's not good enough for you, they were in another company that went from startup, sold for $800 million. And who do you suppose were the #1 marketers in that company? Bob Trueblood, Jerry Bowles, Jesse Romero. Bob Trueblood, are you, Jerry, and Jesse out there tonight?
Yes, we're here.
Hey, Bob, why don't you start off and just take about a couple minutes? What I'd like you to do is introduce Jerry, Jesse. What I'd like to know, Bob, is why you guys came on with QS2. Why don't you share how long you've been with us, how many people you have in your organization. What I'd like to know is how many people you think you're going to have in your organization by the end of the year, and what kind of premium production you're going to do in the month of October, Bob. It'd be interesting to hear that because you've got a team of serious professionals. So, Bob, why don't you introduce Jesse and Jerry and tell us how long you've been here, how many are on your team, and what your goal is in October for production.
Kelly, can you hear me?
Yes, perfect.
Good. Well, I'm up here in northern Ohio on my cell phone, and it's ironic that Kelly's in Denver, and he's going to hop on a plane in a little while and meet me in Columbus, Ohio for luncheon tomorrow. So I'm going to start out to tell you that that is one of the most impressive things I've ever been confronted, that we have such devoted, passionate people in this company. I've been around the block a couple times. I'm not half as successful as you might think I am, but let me tell you something. I have been around successful people, and I'm honored to rub elbows with them. And Kelly Schnorrenberg is one of those guys. I'm not trying to build him up tonight, but I especially was impressed when I ran into some other key people that have had phenomenal success in the insurance industry and that had actually been in a stage of retirement and decided to come out when I saw the potential of this business, this model of QS2, I could not sleep. And when I thought I was in a semi-stage of retirement, I said, man, I kind of feel like the other guys coming out of retirement and getting to work again, and I've never worked so hard in my life. Now, at the same time, I was able to share this with a couple of my dear friends who have become my partners who've had enormous success in the insurance industry, as Kelly's already alluded to. One of them is Jesse Romero, and the other one is Jerry Bowles. And I would like to turn the floor over to Jesse and Jerry for a moment and give you the opportunity. Go ahead and continue from where I've spoken and give them an idea of what you believe we're projecting to do in our own organization in the next few months. Go ahead, Jesse and Jerry.
Well, this is Jesse Romero. Guys, we've built these big organizations. We did it twice. But the most important thing that got my attention with QS2 that I didn't get when we built those companies, we did not have equity ownership that QS2. So the most powerful thing that QS2 has brought to the table in our business structure, we put together a short-term, mid-term, and long-term. But number one, commissions are vested in equity ownership. That sold me right there, because I did not get that equity ownership when I built that company, and when me and Mr. Bowles built these large organizations. And the system that QS2 has, the back office, the recruiting, building, internal consumption, each associate that comes in our organization, number one, they have to give us an 18-month commitment. Number two, they got to give us a short-term, mid-term, long-term goal. Number three, they have to have an internal consumption, be a product of the product, whether it's our core product, life insurance, health insurance, PNC, any of the core products at QS2. So we've been very successful in the last 60 days going through the system. And I'm gonna turn it over to Jerry Bowles. Jerry Bowles is gonna break down the numbers on what we're gonna have between here through December. Mr. Bowles?
Yes, good afternoon. Thank you, everyone, for being on the call. First of all, Mr. Schoenberg, thank you. Thank all the other leadership of QS2, Mr. Dan. And if I start calling names, I'll get in trouble. Guys, this is the most awesome opportunity that, one of the things we talk about in QS2 is restoring the dream. Well, I don't know what you guys were doing in 2008, but I know what I was doing in 2008 when all the mortgages started to go south. I had a few pieces of real estate, and like Mr. Romero and Mr. Trueblood said, we didn't get paid a lot when those companies sold. Matter of fact, we didn't get any money. I still have the check that they gave me for cashing my stock in. I never cashed a check. I needed the money, but I put it on my wall because it's motivated me all these many years. But what we found here at QS2, ladies and gentlemen, I was ready for this. It was looking for me, and I was looking for it. It has given me my passion for selling, my passion, most importantly, for helping people. I believe we have an obligation as licensed insurance individuals in the financial services industry. Too many people are leaving the earth and not leaving their loved ones in a good position. I mean, I read it on Facebook today. A very well-known friend of mine here in the Tampa Bay area unfortunately lost his brother, and they're having to raise money to bury him. Guys, we can't have that happen anymore. And not to take much more time, because we need to get passionate about what we do. This is an opportunity for us to leave a legacy. Yes, we'll do the right thing and we'll make the money. We're on fire. This company is paying for our lunches. They're paying for just everything we need to grow our organization. And Kelly, to answer your question, in the month of October, we're going to grow our organization from the 330 agents up to 990 agents, and we're going to do that by following the system. We're going to do that by following the 7 steps of success that QS2 has laid out. And the number one way we're going to do it by is build our prospect list. And we're going to find out who our 4 checkers are. We're going to find out if they have a center of influence, if they're coachable, they're teachable, and they're trainer. And we're going to find out who the self-starters are and if they have the personal finances to buy one of our products if it's suitable for their life. It has to be suitable. We're not just going to go sell products, but we believe with 78% of Americans not having life insurance, and in some communities that can get upwards of 90%. And by October, ladies and gentlemen, we're announcing to the world we're going to do $1.4 million in annualized premium just on one product. That's Index Universal Life. And again, Kelly, we want to thank you. Thank you so much for all your hard work. You're the hardest working man I've ever seen. So thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm honored to be a part of this leadership call. Thank you, sir.
Let me tell you something, Jerry. This company is honored to have people like Bob, yourself, and Jesse as part of this company. You guys are world-class business people, world-class human beings. You do things for the right reasons. And I tell you what, we couldn't be more tickled to have people with your background, your experience, your expertise helping lead the charge. Thank you so much. Folks, the next two people I want to introduce came into business to Jerry Jesse and Bob Trueblood. I want to introduce a gentleman named Mike Feinberg. Mike's one of the true giants of this industry. He has his business partner on the phone called Victor Leyva. Victor's in Miami. Victor's owned an IMO called Life Partners out there in Miami. Victor has 2,200 plus agents. This gentleman is one of the true giants of the life insurance industry. And Victor's coming on board, for lack of a better word, for the most part, full time. Think about it. This guy's one of the true giants in America of the life insurance industry. And here, Kim and Mike Feinberg partnered up together, and they're going at QS2 like there's no tomorrow. Mike, if you would, why don't you share what attracted you and Victor to our company, what your goals are in the company, and bring Victor on and introducing to QS2.
Thank you, Kelly. Well, what attracted me? I originally went to a meeting, I think it was the first meeting that Bob went to see what QS2 was all about. I was involved in another project at the time. I said to Bob, this looks good, go for it, but right now it's not for me. And a couple of months later, Bob persisted with me, he persisted with Victor, and Victor and I have worked successfully together in the past on a number of different projects. As you said, he's a world-class guy. I am very, very proud and honored that we are partners. And you'll hear from him in a moment. But basically, I've been, I haven't had to go to an office. I haven't gone to an office in the last 6.5 years. I didn't have to get dressed in the morning. I didn't have to shave, and I didn't have to comb my hair. But this opportunity has put me back in an office. I now drive to that office every day. I'm excited to do it because I can see how this is going to change lives. We have every opportunity to do it. We have the opportunity to help an awful lot of people, whether it be through the purchase of the product or whether it be to offer people an opportunity that will absolutely give them leverage and allow them to change their lives. I've been in this networking and insurance industry for a good portion of my life. Totaled it all up, probably about 40 years in the two different industries. And I've not seen anything more exciting than this. I've not met a better bunch of people to work with. And I don't want to steal any more of the time. I would like to introduce my partner who has built a huge insurance agency here in Miami. He's got agents worldwide. My pleasure to introduce Victor Leyva.
Thank you, Mike. Jerry, I think you can hear me, right?
Victor, I can hear you perfectly. Victor, why would someone like yourself that has one of the larger IMOs in life insurance, several thousand agents, why would someone of your caliber
even look at QS2. What brought you here, Victor?
Well, when the A.L. Williams organization started the entire infestation throughout the country, I was one of their victims. And I fought them in many, many cases. But if I put away one agent that was replacing a piece of business for one of my agents, I turned around, there were 100 more. So that was a sad story. We lost a lot of business to the A.L. Williams organization back in the 70s. I've been in the business for 40 years, and I've never been involved with anything else, you know. So when QS2 came to picture, I looked at it and I just didn't pay attention. About a month and a half, I got together with Mike and we took another look, and I said, my God, you know, when I really understood the concept, the systems, and everything else, you know, I spent many years recruiting greenies, and I know what's to recruit an agent. But when I saw what QS2 had in terms of tools and systems available to everyone, recruiting people is as simple as 1, 2, 3. So the whole picture of QS2 has got me very motivated. I got partners, and I met with them, and I said, hey, starting next week, I'm going to stop myself or remove myself from a regular business, and we're going to start a sideline called QS2. And to tell you the truth, we've had only 2 or 3 meetings. We're just starting, and I see the numbers growing in leaps and bounds. If you don't get on the boat right now, which is at the first floor, you'll be sorry, like I was when I saw A.L. Williams. I had 3 people that actually came to my office and tried to recruit me. And, you know, today I'm sorry I didn't join A.L. Williams back a few years ago. But believe me, there is no other opportunity out in the marketplace to build a sizable group of people in a very simple, easy way, because it's all done for you. The only thing you have to do is follow the exact system. Don't try to change it. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. Look at it, learn it from A to Z, and put it into practice, and you'll, mark my words, you can easily build a large organization, and it's going to give you whatever amount of money you can dream of and you can work for, okay? So I'm glad I heard about QS2. I'm very glad I'm in the ground floor opportunities, and I'm telling you, every person that comes by me, I talk to them about QS2. It is a phenomenal opportunity, and I challenge everybody out there to sleep over tonight, get motivated, get excited, do something about it, and I'm sure you will never regret the fact that you joined QS2, and give it all you have, you know, and you will never be sorry. You'll be sorry if you sit down and do nothing, okay? There's plenty of people out there that will grab it and just basically do nothing, but grab it, run with it, get excited, get motivated, get committed, and go to work. And if I can help you, if I can help you in any way, shape, or form, give me a call, and I'm here 7 days a week, 24 hours a day to answer my phone. Thank you, and thank you, guys, and thank you, Bob Trublot, for, you know, continue insisting and calling me back and calling me back. You know, I'm glad you did that. Thank you.
Hey, Victor Kelly, I've got a question for you. How many agents do you have in LPI?
We have about, yesterday, I think we had a total of 4,200.
Victor, just so people understand who Victor Leva is, Victor, what type of targeted life premium did your company do last year?
We did a little bit over $25 million.
Targeted life premium. Victor, let me ask you a question. What are you and Mike's goals between now and the end of the year in targeted life premium, and what do you think that you can do next year with us? You're one of the top people in the world when it comes to hiring, training, targeted life sales. What do you think you and Mike can do by the end of the year, and what's your goal next year?
Our goal in the first 12 months is to do at least $1 million.
That's phenomenal, Victor.
That should be an easy goal, but you know, It is as simple. It's not very difficult. You know, and our target is going to hit $1 million as soon as we can, and we expect to do it in less than 12 months.
That's fantastic, Victor. Folks, tonight we're going to wrap the call up with a gentleman by the name of Joel Christie. The True Blood Group, Bob Trueblood, Jerry Bowles, Jesse Romero, they ended up bringing in Victor Leyva, Mike Feinberg. Well, Mike Feinberg, a couple weeks ago, introduces us to a gentleman named Joel Christie. Folks, let me share a little history on who Joel Christie is. When Art Williams started A.L. Williams, what do you think Art Williams knew about starting an insurance company? He never owned one. He was a high school football teacher coach who had a little bit of a background with Waddell and Reed. Well, Art Williams gets in touch with Joel Christie. They sit down in the hotel over 3 days. Joel Christie kind of maps out the components of starting a life insurance company. Well, then Joel Christie says to Art Williams, he said, I ought to introduce you to a guy named Stanley Byers. Let me tell you who Stanley Byers is. He is an intimately close friend of Joel Christie's. Well, Stanley Byers was the head of a $2 billion publicly traded market cap company on NASDAQ. At one time, folks, it was the largest publicly traded company on NASDAQ. The company he was the chairman of the board of was an insurance conglomerate. They owned 5 different insurance companies. Well, it was Stanley Byers who literally provided all the contracts that Art Williams ended up selling life insurance, and he became Art's mentor. In other words, Stanley was the expert in the financial services industry, chairman of the board of publicly traded entity on NASDAQ, 5 insurance companies, and he provides the contract start, but he provides the mentorship on what to do, what not to do. And all this came to a gentleman named Joel Christie. Well, let me tell you who Joel is. Every insurance company Joel has been with, guess what he was? The #1 producer in America. And we're talking about from a recruiting, building, internal consumption, field training aspect, and production aspect. This guy has had thousands and thousands of agents come through his network. Well, guess why I'm so excited? Last Wednesday, I had the privilege of spending 11 hours with Joel Christie and Stanley Byers. Well, Joel Christie's firstly going to become Kelly Sternberg's mentor. Is becoming part of QS2 within the next 3 to 4 weeks. Dan on and Jim Files are going to be meeting Joel Christie, Stanley Byers in Southern California, and Stanley Byers, along with Joel, are willing to bring their expertise to our company. So what I'd like to do is finish the call out tonight and introduce you to one of the most influential people in America in this industry, Joel Christie. And guess how we met Joel? We met Joel through Mike Feinberg and Victor Leyva. So Joel Christie, are you out there?
I'm here.
Joel, I just have a couple questions. We got about 10 minutes before we wrap up, Joel. The call ends at the top of the hour. Joel, obviously you've been a titan in this industry. Your resume is off the charts. Why would someone like you and Stanley, when you've had the success you've had in this industry, built the empires you built in this industry, if it wouldn't have been for you gentlemen, there probably wouldn't even been an A.L. Williams get off the ground because of what you did for Art Williams, the guidance you gave him, the mentorship you gave him. Why would someone like yourself be involved with QS2?
Well, somebody stated that, and I don't want to, again, bore anybody, but somebody stated that this is the first floor. I believe it's not the first floor, it's the basement.
and I believe that you're going to be building a skyscraper from the basement, and you have all the ingredients necessary to cause it to be. It's not something that's going to be very easy. It's going to require hard work. It's going to require a lot of planning and a lot of backup and support services. And from what I can see so far, you have those things in order, Kelly. And I think that you're a great motivator, and we're all here for one major purpose, and that is perhaps to have a greater dedication to what we're doing, because we have a better financial arrangement for the public. So if you have a good product portfolio and you have good agents that have a purpose in being here in the first place, and you put these two things together and you have a plan, then the plan works because it's a system. And people, everyone, can take the pressure off themselves and put the pressure on the system. And therefore you feel no pressure. So you got a lot of things here, and again, there's not. I only know a little bit so far because we haven't really, sat down and got answers to the many little intricate things that one would need to know. But it looks like everything is in place to start in the basement and build a skyscraper, whether it be 100 stories or 200 stories high. The thing is, it's going to be a monster when it's completed.
Hey, Joel, if you would, kind of wrap the call up sharing your background. Give us a little detail on your background. Give us a little detail on Stanley Byer's background so that people understand the power of this.
Well, let me start with Stanley Byer. I had the privilege of meeting him, way back many, many years ago, over 35 years ago now. He's very charismatic. He's a human being that's very enjoyable to be around. And fortunately for me, we've been good friends since the mid and 1970s. He's a very talented man. He's experienced with all sorts of corporate matters, such as going public, remaining public, getting more money with the bankers, all these different things. And he knows how to handle things. He has probably more experience in monitoring the A.L. Williams program on a daily basis, app by app by app by app. And we know how many apps they wrote, because that's what he had to take care of, because he put up the money, so as to speak. And this is the man that was doing it all for the Williams organization. And he's done so many things. He has so many talents and abilities. And basically, we worked together, and I was the guy behind the scenes that made it all, fairly possible. And for myself, I've been around the business for 45 years. I had all sorts of records in sales and sales management and building organizations, and each and every one of them were built basically from scratch. So recruiting is the name of my game. Training goes along with recruiting, but there's one other thing too, and that's retention. If you don't have retention, then you miss the whole point of how to build. So I'd like to just leave everybody here with a thought, and then maybe perhaps get this into your minds, that recruiting is the most important thing. And you recruit always and always. Always and always. And if you can make that like a mantra for yourself, always and always, and teach it to the people you bring in, then you have a snowball rolling down the hill that can never stop, and it gets larger by the second. So I guess that's about it for me. I don't want to, go into a major story or anything, but I think you guys have a great opportunity, and you are in here at the right time. The foundation is being laid. That's what happens in the basement area. You lay the foundation, you make it very strong, so that, and this is what Kelly has done. He's brought in some very strong people to make the foundation for all of us. And then we build from there. And there's going to be others that will be coming in also.
Well, Joe, I certainly appreciate your time tonight. Mike, Victor, appreciate you guys, Bob Trueblood, Joey Balls, Jesse Romero. Folks, let me wrap it up on this tonight. About 9-10 months ago, Dan Ahmed, myself, along with Tony Reyes, Jim Ginocchio, Ricky Krogh, John Phillips, Wells, Mike Gunzik, Doug Arundel, decided to put a company called QS2 together. And let me tell you something, folks. In business, you're either growing or dying, one or the other. So ask yourself tonight, based on what you personally done the last 30 days in recruiting, are you growing or dying? Look at your business and be honest. Ask yourself this, the last 30 days with the production that you personally have turned in with the people you're personally sponsoring, are you growing or are you dying? Are you growing your business with momentum or you're dying? Well, let me tell you the good feeling I have. Our president, Dan Ahmed's one of a kind. He's one of a kind. Our CEO, Dan Ahmed, one of a kind. Jim Files, he brings business expertise very few people have. Then you talk about a Randy Krogh, a John Phillips, Scott Wells, and Mike Gunzik. You talk about a John Phillips. Once again, our management team, our corporate team is world class. Well, folks, guess who Dan Ahmed and Jim Files are going to be meeting tomorrow? They're going to be on the phone tomorrow with Joe Christie. And over the next 3-4 weeks, Stanley Byers getting ready to go to France for 3 weeks. But over the next month, they're going to be going to Southern California. We're beginning to have resources, information, knowledge at our fingertips from some of the true giants of the industry. And once again, folks, I'm not aware of any financial services companies, their first 8 months in business, that have 7,000 people. We've done that. By the end of this year, we're going to have 20, 30,000. We're going to end up doing 15, 20 million by the end of this year in targeted life premium. Folks, I'm not aware of starting a startup company doing that. You know what? Our first full year in business, we said our target was to do 27 million. Well, the launch of our company was July in Vegas. I really believe that if the leadership steps up in this company, if those of you who call yourself leaders, if you truly look in the mirror and look at where you're at today, where you want to be tomorrow, where you want to be next month, where do you want to be by the end of this year, I believe we'll put $100 million in targeted life insurance premium on books between now and July of next summer. And folks, it's all about leadership. It's about leadership. In other words, look in the mirror and ask yourself where you're at as a leader. Is what you're doing duplicatable? Are you setting an example in your group? Is it duplicatable? Do you lead by example? Are you in the trenches recruiting every day? Are you doing internal consumption with your new recruits every day? Are you field training your people, helping them get their 5 sales every day? So, folks, I want to wrap it up on this tonight. I want to thank everybody in QS2. I think we have a one-of-a-kind company, and I think we have one-of-a-kind leadership, not only in-house, but in the field. We have some of the true giants in this industry in our company. You know what time it is? It's time to get serious. It's time to reevaluate. It's time to set new goals. It's time to make a new commitment. It's time to pull out all the stops and become all you can be. In other words, mediocrity is for someone else. It's not for you, and it's not for QS2. Folks, let's recommit tonight. Let's set new goals tonight. Let's have new short-term goals next 90 days, next 6 months, next year. How many recruits are you going to have? How many new internal consumption sales are you going to have? How many people are you going to help get their 5 field training sales? Who on this phone tonight's going to earn $100,000 in the next 60, 90 days? I'm going to Ohio tomorrow. We got a guy in Ohio named Chad Wicklow. He could put $100,000 in targeted life premium his very first month. Folks, he's going to earn $100,000 this first month. Rocky in the Rain, look what he's doing. Folks, thank you a million. Have a great evening.